So we are discussing about switch case. So we have seen one of the rule in writing the switch case, right? So we will see some of the other rules. There are some more other rules also which we need to follow when we are using switch case. Okay, let's see what are the other rules that we need to follow in using the switch case. So the second rule is just the second rule is now if you see if you remember if there is only one statement under the if. Okay, like I have a if with condition. So I have a if statement. Now, if this if statement is having only one statement under that, okay, if it is having only one statement under that, providing these flower brackets, is it mandatory or optional? It is optional, right? So if there is only one statement under the if condition, okay, see here, we have only one statement under the if condition. At that time, providing these brackets, okay, boundaries is not mandatory, it is optional. Okay, so but when it comes to switch case, okay, in switch, always we need to provide the boundaries, irrespective of any number of statements. Okay, if there could be one statement, or there could be zero statements, or there could be any number of statements, irrespective of statements that are under the switch case, we should always provide the boundaries, nothing but flower brackets. Okay, so what is rule number 2? So in switch case, so we write any number of statements, right? You can write any number of statements. Right? So every time, okay, every time, when I say every time, which means that it could be one statement, zero statements, or more than one statement. Okay, so if you have any more than any number of statements, okay, so we have to what? We have to provide boundaries. We have to provide boundaries. So how the boundaries looks like? This. Mhm. So we need to always provide these boundaries. If you are not providing the boundaries, then it is going to be a compile time error. Okay, your compiler is going to throw a error. Remember this rule. Okay, so if I have to take an example, let's take an example. Example 1. So I have an int variable name a, which is holding a value 10. Now here I'm writing a switch case and passing this variable. Okay, as switch will always take variables as values. Okay, within the parenthesis. So I'm passing the variable integer a as the variable to input to it. Now what is that I'm trying to do? I'm not having any statements. Okay, so I don't have any statements in the switch case, but still I have provided these boundaries. I'm able to provide these boundaries. So is it a valid statement according to rule number 2? Yes, it is a valid statement. Okay, now let's see, according to rule number 2, if I have a integer variable a with value 10 and I'm able to declare a switch and I'm able to pass the variable to it, but I'm not providing the boundaries. I'm not providing the boundaries. So in this case, according to rule number 2, is this a correct statement? No, it is not a correct statement. Okay, it is not a correct statement, because you could have one statement or you could not have statements, or there could be any number of statements. Always we need to provide boundaries. Like let's say, let me take one more example. Okay, so here let's say I have again a integer variable a is equal to 10, which is holding a value 10, and now I'm saying switch off a, and I'm giving the boundaries, and inside that I'm writing only one case 1, and under that case I'm just trying to write what is system.out.println, just saying hi. Okay, so in this case, according to rule number 2, if I have to consider this particular code as valid or not, means it is valid only. Okay, it is valid because it is taking a variable. Okay, value is a variable here, and it is having boundaries, and there is a case, and it is having proper syntax. So everything is fine, according to the rules that we need to follow for switch case. So this is valid. Now let me take one more example and let's see, and let's try to understand that. So now this time what I will do, I will try to write again a variable name a with value 10, and I'm writing a switch case with passing the variable a. And now I'm not providing the boundaries and I'm declaring my case. Okay, and I'm saying this sort or println of hi. So according to rule number 2, is this a correct statement? No again. Okay, reason, you may have one statement or you may have any number of statements. You need to provide boundaries always. Okay, as I haven't provided boundaries here, that's the reason this statement is not correct. Got it? Now let's move on to rule number 3. Okay, rule number 3. So what is this rule? So in switch case, writing case statements or default statements are optional. Okay, but if we want to write any statement, we have to write inside the case statement or default statements only. Remember this. What is it? First of all, within the switch case, whether you wanted to have a default statement or whether you wanted to have a case statement is optional. You can have case statement or you no need to have a case statement. You can have default statement or you no need to have, or you can have both, or you can have none. Okay, it is a valid. But if you are trying to write any statements, always those statements has to come under the case or default. Without case or default, you should not write any statements. Okay, if you try to write any statements without case or default, then that particular code is not going to be compiled. It is going to throw a error. Okay, so what is it? In switch case, what is that? Writing case statements. Okay, I'm saying case statements are default statements. Okay, case statements are default statements. Are what? Are optional. Okay, you no need to have. Without that also the code will work. But okay, if we write any statements, okay, we have to write inside what? Inside where? Inside the case statement, inside the case statements or default statement. Okay, so remember this rule. Okay, so what is it I'm trying to say? Let me take an example for this. Let me say int a is equal to 1. I have a variable int a is equal to 1. So I'm just saying switch of a. So is this a correct statement? Yes. Okay. I don't have case, I don't have default. Okay. So I'm following the remaining rules. So it is not a problem. The code will compile. Now let me take example 2. Okay. So let me say again, I have integer a is equal to 1 again. So I have a switch of a and I have a boundary. And now I'm trying to write directly. I'm trying to write the system.out.println. The println statement I'm trying to write directly. I'm not using any case. I'm not using any default. Directly I'm trying to write. So according to rule number 3, is this a correct syntax? No, this is not a correct code. Okay. So this is going to have a issue. Compiler is going to throw a error if you are right like this. Okay. Similarly, if I have to take the correct one, so let me take a correct example now. So in this case, now let's say int a is equal to 1. Okay, and I'm saying switch of passing the variable which is of integer type. And what I'm saying case 1 and I'm saying system.out.println of hi. Okay, now is this correct? Yes, it is correct because you have sprint statement under the case. Okay, it is there. It is coming beside the, under the case. So that's the reason this code is valid. It will not throw any error. So that's the rule number 3. Now let's move on to rule number 4. Let's move on to rule number 4. So what is that is in switch case, we can write default statements anywhere inside the switch case. Now, if you see in the previous example, I have written default statement as the last statement. So if you have a question that default statement should come always at the last means no, it can come anywhere. Okay, it can come at the first position. It can come after case one. It can come after case two, or it can come anywhere. There is no such thing saying that default statement has to come at so and so place. Understood? So it can come anywhere. So, but what is recommended? Recommended means what? What is recommendation means? Recommendation means if you follow, it is going to give you a good result. That's it. So if you, it is recommended to write default statement in the ending section of the switch case. Okay, so it's not that default statement has to come only at the end. It can come anywhere, but it is recommended to write default statement as the last statement. Okay, so that you will have an advantage if you write like that. Okay, so now let's see this. Okay, let's see this example. So we can write what? We can write default statement. Okay, so default statement anywhere. Okay, anywhere inside the switch case. Okay, but it is recommended to write default statement to write in the ending of the switch case. If we need to see some examples, let's see some examples. So, and how many default statements we can write? If that is a question. So I forgot to mention that. So if I have to write default statements, how many default statements can write? So when it comes to case, how many case statements you can write? You can write any number of case statements. In a similar way, how many default statements I can write inside a switch case? Okay, you can write at most one only. Okay, if you want to write only one time, or otherwise you don't write. Okay, if you don't write also, it is good. But if you're trying to write more than one time, then it is going to be again I mean, it is not a valid code again. Okay. So at most, how many times so at most, how many times we can get? We can have a default statement as at most one default, one default statement we can write. Is it clear, guys? We're able to follow till here? Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, now let's see some examples. Okay, let's see some examples. So let me say like according to this rule, now I'm declaring one variable, integer variable a with value 1, and I am declaring a switch statement by passing this particular variable value. So I have one case 1. Okay, I have similarly, I have case 2. Okay, I have a default statement. Okay, and after the default statement, again I have case 3 and I have again case 4. Okay, I'm closing the boundary. Now, is this a right syntax according to rule number 4? According to rule number 4, so is this a right syntax? Is this code valid or not valid? So to answer this is a valid code as we talked about. So default statement can come anywhere. Okay, there is no such thing that default has to come only at the last. Okay, this is a valid code. Now let's see second example. So I have again, I'm taking a variable integer a with value 1, and I am again declaring a switch case. Okay, and I'm opening the boundary, and this time I'm trying to write my default statement as the first statement. And I have case 1. Okay, I have case 2. Okay, and I have again a default statement. Okay, I have again case 3. I have again case 4. Okay, so and I'm closing the boundary. So is this a valid code or it is not a valid code? So what happened here? Here default statement came more than one time. So according to rule number 4, you can have default statement repeated only for once. You cannot have it more than one time. But here it is coming more than 2 times, which means that this is not a valid code. You will get compile time error saying duplicate, duplicate default, duplicate default label. This is the compile time error you will get. Okay, you will get duplicate default label. Okay, now let's see one more example. Okay, so let me say example 3. Now this time I'm again declaring a integer variable 1, and this time again I'm writing the switch case by passing the integer variable a, and I'm saying case 1. Okay, I'm writing case 2, and I'm writing case 3, and I'm writing case 4. So there should be a space between label and case. Okay, always remember that. There should be always space between case and label. And I'm just closing this. So here, do I have a default statement? No, I don't have a default statement. So and look at the rest of the code. Is it valid? Yes, it is having boundaries, and we are passing a variable which is of integer type, and cases are properly there. It is having label, everything is good. Okay, so which means that this is a valid code. There is no problem with this code. But what is that is missing here? Default statement. So what I said, a default statement can come or it may not come. But if it is coming, it has to come only once, but not more than one time. According to that, this is a valid code. Okay, this is a valid code. Now let's move on to rule number 5. Everything is clear, guys, till here? Clear, right? Okay. Now let's move on. Let's see the other rule. Okay. So we have one last rule that we need to discuss still. Okay. Let's discuss about this rule, and we can see few more programs. Based on these rules, we'll write some more programs, and I'll give you some assignments on the switch case. You can go and you can practice on that. Okay. Now last one. So in switch case, we can write any number of case statements. Okay. And if you write a case, okay, if you are trying to write a case, its label must be specified, which should not be duplicated again. Okay, so when you are writing a case should always have a label. And if you have a case label already declared, you cannot duplicate that label. Okay, if case 1 is there, you cannot repeat the same label again. Okay, you cannot duplicate the label. So label should be always unique. Okay, so what is it? We can write any number of case statements. Okay, we can write any number of case statements. If we write a case, its label must be specified first. You need to specify it, and which should not be duplicated. Okay, understood, right? So let's see some examples on this. Okay, so what is that I'm trying to say is, let me take a variable. Okay, and I'm saying switch, and I'm passing this variable to it, and I'm having case 1, it's fine, case 2, okay, and I have case 3. Okay, and just closing the boundary. So is this a valid code? Yes, it is. Okay, it is a valid code. And now let's see another example. Okay, let's take another example. Example 2. Let's see this. I have again an integer a is equal to 1. Okay, and I'm saying switch off. I'm passing the variable. And what I'm saying case 1. Okay, I'm saying case 2, and I'm saying case 3, and again I'm saying case 2, and I'm saying case 4. So is this a valid code? See, you have the same case label coming 2 times, means it is duplicated. So because of which this is not a valid code. You cannot have case label repeated. You can have only you can have the label always to be mentioned uniquely. So label is mandatory and label name should not be duplicated. It should be unique always. Now let's see another example. Example 3. Okay. Let's say I have integer variable a and I'm saying switch of a. Okay. And I'm saying case 2. Okay. And I'm saying case 3. And I'm having a case without a label. Okay, so I have case, and don't assume that case a label should be always in a sequence order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay, they can start anytime, they can have anything. Label can be anything. Don't expect that the sequence should be it should have a sequence. Now see here. So what is that we discussed? Case should always have a label. A label should be specified. Without a label, case will never be a valid code. So I have a case and I am not providing a label to it. Okay, I haven't provided a label to it, which means that this code is not a valid code. Okay, let's see another example. Okay, so let me say I have an integer a. Okay, and I am passing this variable to switch case. And what I'm saying is I'm saying case 65. Okay, and I'm saying case 1, and I'm saying case 2, and I'm saying case A, and I'm saying case 4. Okay, so is this a valid code? If we ask, so no, it is not a valid code. The reason is not that you are using a char here. So this is a char, right? If I write something like this, we treat that as a char. Not that it is a char because of which it is not a valid code. So in ASCII code, okay, so we said, right, there is a encoding system, there is a coding system called ASCII code. Okay, so where every number is represented, every character is represented with some number in ASCII. Okay, so I can show you that ASCII table. So there is a ASCII table. Let's see that ASCII table. You'll understand it. Let's go to Google and let's see. Which is clear. Let me take this table. Okay, so you people are able to see this table. Is this visible? Is this visible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, one second. Fine. So see this. So as I told you, so every number we have, okay, all this. So we have spaces, we have symbols, we have what? We have character, we have uppercase alphabets, we have lowercase alphabets, right? Every alphabet, every symbol, every lowercase, and every uppercase, and numbers 0 to 9. All these are represented with a number in the ASCII table. Okay. So now if I have to say, if I have to take A, there is a character A. So which A? There are two ways, right? One is uppercase and one is lowercase. So if I take a uppercase, for uppercase, what is the number in the ASCII table that is given for uppercase A? See, if you see uppercase A here, what is the number that it is given for A? What is the number? It is 65. Okay. So in a similar way, if we have to see small a, for small a, what is the character? 97. So the number that is given for this particular this is 97. Okay. Now when you give that value, okay, when you give, you are able to understand this table, right? What is this table means? Every number, every symbol, every character, uppercase character and lowercase character, all these are having a number in the ASCII table. Okay. Now our system is always going to, when we give number, when we give some characters, okay, and that character, it will try to represent it in terms of a number. And when it is trying to represent that as a number, what it will do is it will try to relate that to a ASCII table. Okay, what it will do, it will try to relate that to a ASCII table. Now, if I give a capital A, so it what will it do? So I have given an integer type, but this guy has given a character. What should I do? Okay, he wants me to treat this particular character as a ASCII table, ASCII related number. So what it will do, it will go to ASCII table and it identifies for capital A what is the number. Okay, 65 is the number. Okay, now this actually need to be considered as 65, not as capital A. Like that, it will be able to represent that. Okay, it will be able to convert that and it will be able to work on it. Okay, who is going to do that? Our JVM is going to do that. Understood? Our compiler and our JVM will be able to understand that. Now, now coming back here, is it clear, guys? You have any questions? If it is not clear, don't worry. We will come back again to this section many times, okay? And many examples will be coming, many things has to be related to it. Okay, we will see that table and everything so many times, okay? You will be able to get that clarity in the future classes. But for now, I tried whatever has to be said to you, like how it can be understandable. But still, if you're not able to follow, don't worry. Okay, we will see it. But here, now see this. If you see this code, in this code, so what is the exact problem? Why this code is not valid? I myself, I'm telling this is not valid. So can someone tell me why this is not valid? I have already revealed it. Okay. So, but still, anyone will be able to tell me why this is not a valid code? Can anyone tell me why this is not a valid code? So basically, what is the fifth point? Rule number 5.
We used index.
Sorry,
We used index. Int.
we used different type.
Ah,
So we use different type, which is char. That's what I mean to say. Okay, that's what the reason I actually showed you the ASCII table. Okay, even if you give this particular char type. Okay, so char is an acceptable value to switch or not? What are the acceptable values for switch? You can give byte, short, and int. You remember that? What are the accepted values? The accepted data types that we can pass to switches: byte, short, and int. You remember that, right?
int.
So this is a char actually.
Yes.
If something is represented in single quote, it is what? It is a char. So as it is a char, every
Yes.
char letter, everything that is represented in char is going to be related to a ASCII value. Everything will be related to a ASCII value. So here it is not a error because we used different types. Okay, here we have used number. This is number, integer, this is integer, this is integer, this is integer. But whereas this is a char. So because of that, it is not invalid, just not because of this different character. Okay, not because of different data type. As I told you, this is converted. Now, when I give like this in this section, this will be converted into ASCII number. So what is the ASCII number for capital A? Just now I showed you. Okay. ASCII, in ASCII table, for capital A, what is the number that is related? Is nothing but 65. Okay, what is the number that is given for capital A in ASCII table? What is the number that is given? 65. Now, which means that in the runtime, this is going to be converted into 65. Okay, so it is not going to be A, it is going to be converted into 65. And this will happen only when you use char, not any other characters. Okay, all the characters are always related to a ASCII table. Remember that. Now, as I told you that this is going to be converted into 65. Now, can you tell me why this particular example is wrong? Why it is wrong according to rule number 5?
Yeah. Because we used int but are having capital A.
Because we have given the same label name. Understood? So the rule
Yes.
number 5 is talking about we are We should not give same label name. We have to
Same
give
label.
different label name. So, but what happened? You have given the same label name. 65 you have already used. Again, we have used capital A. Capital A in ASCII table it is represented with 65. Now this will be replaced with 65. So what happened? This case and this case are what? They are duplicated with label names. That's the reason this is not a valid code. Understood? Understood, right? Okay. All right. Now let's move on to some other example. One more, two, let's see some more examples. Example 5. So I have an integer value. Okay. And let me take a switch case. Okay. And what I'm trying to do is I'm writing a case 1. Okay. And this time I'm writing case A. Okay. And I'm writing case 2 and case Z. Okay. Now, can someone tell me whether this is a valid code or it is not a valid code?
I think we need to refer ASCII table.
It is a, sorry, I couldn't understand you, Salma.
I think we need to refer ASCII table.
Ah, okay. Good point. So, for small a, ASCII value, the value is 97. Okay, and this is small z. For small z, add 26 to this. 97 plus 26, how much it is? Can someone tell me? 126 or what it is? 116? So 113, 123. Am I right?
Yes.
Just you need to add alphabets of 26, right? To this number, A is 97, which means that just add 26 to it so that you will get Z. So in ASCII table, you mentioned the right point. In ASCII table, so the number that is given for small a is 97. And for Z, it is given as 123. Okay. So now according to that, now tell me. So we are able to understand what is small a and what is small z. So which means that this is going to be converted as 197 and this is going to be converted as 123, right? So now tell me. So we have case,
Yes.
it is a valid case, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is a valid case, yes. Perfect. So now let's take last example. So I am taking a byte, a is equal to 1. Okay, and I'm saying switch off. I'm passing byte. So I'm saying case 1. Okay, I'm saying case 2 and I'm saying case 300. Okay, is this a valid one or it's not a valid one? Is this a valid one or it is not a valid one? Understood, right? I have case 1, case 2 and case 300. Is this a valid code or it is not a valid code? What you're assuming? Anyone can answer me? Is this a valid or it's not valid? You're confused with the data type or you're confused with this value? Everyone there, right? Can someone answer me? You have any confusion with the type or you have confusion with the case label? So why you are not able to answer? Salma, can we tell you the answer? You guys there? Hello? You there, right? What happened? Am I audible, guys?
Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, did you understand the question? I have asked a question,
Hello.
right? Yeah, did you understand the question?
Show the program, sir. Hello.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, so this is the code which I have asked. So there is a byte, a variable A, and this is a switch case. I have written case 1, case 2, and case 300. And I'm asking whether this is a valid code or not a valid code.
I think Alex, but I accepted from.
Okay, so the what you tried guessing is correct, but it is not a valid code. The reason why it is not a valid code is, if you remember in the initial days, when I'm explaining the data types, for every data type, I have mentioned a range along with size. I also tried telling you the size. You remember the size, right? So for byte, how many number till which range of number we can store when it comes to a byte? Byte means what? Byte takes how much size? Byte takes 1 byte, right? 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay. In 8 bits, okay, the max number that you can store is 127. Okay, plus 137. So you can store from minus 128 to plus 127 only. Okay, so the byte range is what? Byte range is from 128 minus 128 to plus 127. But here, what is the number I have given? 300. My input value type is byte and the range of it is 127 only. But what is that I have given? 300. So 300 is not the scope of byte. 300 is not a scope of byte. So as it is not the scope of byte and you are trying to have a case label bigger number than the input size type. Okay, input variable type. That's the reason it is not valid. You understood this, right? Now instead of this, if I go for writing a short here, so short takes how many bytes? It takes 2 bytes and its range is minus 65,535 to 35 to 36 to plus 65,535. Understood, right? Now, if it is a short, then declaring this label name is valid. But if it is byte, its range is this. So as the range is this, and if you are using 300 here for this particular type, then this code is not going to be a valid code. Understood, everyone? Is it clear, guys? Why it is not a valid code? All right. Now let's move on. Let's see other one. So by default, one second. Hmm. So there is a default behavior with switch case. Okay. So what is that? So by default, switch case will enter into any case. Okay, so it can enter into any case. Like you have passed a variable, that variable is holding so and so value, and that value is matched to any of the case labels. So when it is matched, it goes to that case. So it can enter into any case. Okay, it can enter into any case if what? If case label is successfully, if case label is successfully compared. Okay, if it is successfully compared, it can enter into any case. Okay, and After it is able to enter into that case, now what it has to do? It has to execute the statements that are there under that case. So while executing, what happens? It executes until, okay, end of the switch case, until end of the switch case, until end of the switch case, or until the break statement, until the break statement. Okay, so until the break statement is found. Got it? So basically this nature, so this nature of switch case, this nature of switch case is called fall through behavior. We call it as what? We call that as fall through behavior. Okay, it is called as fall through behavior. Okay, so but if we want to stop this continuity of switch case and execute the statements according to our requirement, we have to use break statement. Got it? So what happens basically is, okay, so let's say I'll take an example here. Okay, we'll take an example and I'll try to explain you that example. Okay, don't worry. So basically what I'm trying to say here is I have a switch case. I have a switch case. Let's say int a is equal to 10, I said. Okay, I'm passing the a here. I'm saying case 8. Okay, I have SOP. Okay, and I have a break statement. Okay, and next I have case 10 and I have a SOP. Okay, and I have not mentioned the break statement. I have taken case 11 and I'm saying SOP, and again I'm not mentioning the case statement, sorry, break statement. Like this, I have another SOP. Okay, so I'm just trying to print the case numbers here. This is 8, 11, 12, and I'm just trying to close this switch case. So now, according to the input that is given to this, which case will execute? This one. So it will come here and it will start execute the statement under this case. So what is the statement that I have? System.out.println of 10. Okay. Now, after finishing this statement under this case, so it will not stop executing it. It will not come out of the switch case because there is no break statement. What it will do, it immediately follows the next case and it will try to execute the next statement also. And if there is no break statement here also, then again it goes and it will try to execute the next statement also. Like that, it will look for any break statement is available, or it will keep on executing like that till it reaches the end of the switch case. Understood what I'm trying to say? So switch will match the case, and after matching it, it will execute the statements, okay, and it will keep on executing the statement if it is able to find the break statement or until end of the switch case. That is the meaning of that particular rule. Understood? So what is that? That is the reason what we need to do always. We need to always careful. Okay, based on our requirement, we need to be always careful. If we want only so and so case statements to be executed, means don't forget to mention the break statement there. If you don't mention the break statement, the default behavior of switch is what? It will just keep on executing the other cases till it finds a break statement, or if it reaches till it reaches the switch end of the loop. Sorry, switch block, end of the switch block. Got it? Okay. So what is that? But if you don't want, yes, yes,
Sir, help. Sir,
madam.
is there any possibility for that program infinity loop?
There is no infinity.
Hello.
There won't be any infinity. So this is not a loop, right? So you will not get any
Okay.
infinite loop because somewhere you will be ending your switch case,
Okay.
right? So there is no such thing like you don't have any switch ending it. You will somewhere
Okay.
end it, right? So here you will not have any infinite. Okay. The problem what you will get is basically how we will try to write.
But
We will try to write code matching to the cases. So we will have group of statements and we want that
hmm,
group of statements to be under a case. So we'll always try to write group of statements under a case. Now, if you're not mentioning a break statement, at that time, what happens is it will also execute the other cases. I'll show that behavior.
Okay.
We'll take an example and we'll see that behavior. But there won't be any infinity. The only thing
Okay.
that happens is go to the next case, right? To execute the statement. If it is able to find break statement here, it will be able to stop there and it will come out of the switch case. But if it is not able to find break statement there also, it will
Okay.
keep on going, executing all the cases till it finds the end of the switch case. Means the end flower bracket is there, right? The closing flower bracket is there, right? Till it reaches here, it will keep on
Oh.
executing everything.
Oh.
Once it is able to reach the end of the
Oh.
case, it will come out of it. Okay, so that is it.
Okay.
So now, so basically what is break is called as transfer statement. Okay, so we'll have one more section under the control statement which is called as transfer statement. Okay, so we'll see clearly about break under the transfer statements. Okay, so we are into conditional statements right now, right? After conditional statements we have iterative or looping statements. After that we have transfer statements. So this break statement is actually comes under transfer statement. The behavior of break, how it will be, we will be able to clearly see when we go to transfer statements. Okay. Okay. So let me write that point also. So break is what? Transferring statement. Break is what? Break is a transferring statement which will stop the continuity of switch case. Continuity of switch case and transfer transfer the control transfer the control from inside the switch case to outside of the switch case. Outside the switch case. Remember this about break statement. This is about break statement. This is what it does basically. So whenever it encounters the break, the behavior of break is it has to stop the continuity and it has to send the control from inside the block to outside the block. Understood? So that's about the break statement. Now, as it is not able to identify the break statement, if you don't mention the break statement after the case statement, after finishing your statement under the case, then what happens? The continuity of the program will be keep on executing till it finds the break statement or it reaches the end of the switch case. Got it? Now let's take one example and let's write a program. So do we have time? What is the time now? Yeah, we have 7 more minutes, right? Let me do one thing. Okay, so let's take a program. Okay, let's try to write a program and we'll try to understand that. Okay, so let's see what is the program I wanted to take is we'll write a program to perform all arithmetic operations. Okay, all arithmetical operations using switch case. Can we do this using switch case? Okay, so let's try to write this program. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm writing a class. Okay, so I'm just saying switch. Okay, switch. Let me say switch demo 2 or something. Let me give the name like this. So now I want to use buffer reader here. Okay, I want to use buffer reader because I will give you some options. Okay, so you need to opt for that options. You need to give me a input. Based on that input, I have to read and I have to make you to choose the operation what you wanted to perform. Okay, so I will display you some options. Then you have to choose an operation. Like I will tell you addition, subtraction. If you want addition means choose one. If you want subtraction means choose two. Like that, I will give you some options in the console. Once you see them, what you need to do then, you have to give me an input. Like if you want to perform an addition means click that first. So that addition case will go. So what you will do, I will ask for giving you two inputs. You will give me the inputs. I'll pass this input to the inputs to the program so that it will be able to perform the operation of your choice. Okay, so this is how I generally want the program to be written. For which what I'm doing here, I'm trying to take the help of the buffer reader because I want the inputs to be not hard coded. They have to be dynamic. Okay, so for which first of all, let me write a method which is public static void main of let me say string array of args. Okay, so let me start this particular method. So what is the class help I have to take? Buffer reader, because I want to take the values from the console. So buffer reader beer. What I need to do, I need to create object for the buffer reader. How to create object for buffer reader? You need to use the new keyword. Yeah, buffer reader. This one again expects a input. What? Input stream reader. So again, I need to pass the object of input stream reader, for which what I need to do, I need to create object for input stream reader. So that's the reason I'm using new keyword again. So what is it? Input stream reader. Okay, so this will like ask us to give from where I have to read the values. So it will expects us to provide an input from where it has to read the values. Now I am trying to pass the values from the console, so that's the reason I have used system.in. Okay, which means that I'm going to give the inputs from the keyboard. That is the meaning of it. Now let me write one system.out.println statement. What I wanted to do is I will ask to enter any two numbers, because you have to perform what? You have to perform any arithmetic operation, right? For which I am trying to collect values from you. Okay. So how to collect these values? So what is the method that I have to call for collecting the values? Everyone remember? Can you tell me what is the method that we need to use for collecting the values? So on the buffer reader, what is the method that I have to use in order to collect the values? So we need to use the method br.readline. People forgot? Okay, so this will give me the value in which format, in which way it will give me the data. It will give me the data in terms of a string, but I don't want string, right? I want number. I'm passing a number, but it is giving me in terms of a string. Why it is giving me in terms of a string? Why it is not giving me directly as a number itself? Because in number only number will fit. Okay, but what will not data like characters, like symbols, this will not fit in number, but they will fit in what? They will fit in string. String is what? String is group of collection of characters. String is what? Group of collection of characters. So we have a separate section on string. You will understand then. Okay, so that's the reason it is coming as what? As a string. That's the reason I wanted to convert that to integer. So how to convert that? For which, remember, right? I need to take the help of what? Integer dot parse int. Okay, so I'm parsing it. It is going to give me a value, and I am trying to hold that value in a. In the similar way, I am going to give you one more value, and I want to collect that value also, for which what you have to do? You need to again give the buffer dot read line statement. Okay, this statement will stop and collect the value, and the value is going to be stored in the B. Now with this, what I'm able to do, I'm able to collect the variables from you. No, sorry, inputs from you. Now next, what I need to do, I just wanted to display you to choose. Okay, if you want addition, okay, so one is what? One. If you give me an input as one, okay, so then addition is the inputs that you have given me are going to perform addition. Okay, so now if you are going to give me two as input, then I'm going to perform subtraction. I'm going to do what? I'm going to perform subtraction. So in a similar way, if you pass me 3, I'll perform multiplication. So you have given me inputs and I'm displaying you certain options. You have to choose an option again. Once you choose the option, so those inputs will be performing the operation what you have opted for. Now another, I'm writing one more statement. If you choose 4, then it is going to be performing quotient. If you want quotient, if you want division, And if you want the result to be quotient, then use this option. In the similar way, I have fifth option. Here what it is. If you want remainder, if you want to perform a division and the output you want is remainder, then go for opting fifth or. And yeah, so here similarly what I'm doing, I'm just asking you to enter the choice, enter your choice. Okay, enter your choice. Okay, now once I say this, what I have to do, I have to collect the value, right? So how to collect the value? I need to say println dot, sorry, br dot read line. So this will give me the value in which way? In a string way. What I need to do, I need to convert it to integer. So how to convert it? Again, I need to do the integer dot parse int. Okay, I need to call this method. So what happens? This will give me a value. I'm saying that as choice. Okay, now I'm writing my program. Okay, so now this choice, I'm giving it to what? I'm giving it to the switch case. So now what I do, I'm writing a case one. So what is case one? Case one should do what? Should be able to do addition. So addition, if you opted for case one, then the output is going to be A plus B. Okay, this is how we generally perform addition, right? So after this, I'm saying a break. Okay, case 2. Case 2, what I need to do? Case 2 is multiplication, right? Or subtraction. Case 2, what is that? Subtraction. Okay, subtraction. Just hold on for a few minutes. We'll complete this and we'll wind up. Okay, so now let me write the break statement, or otherwise default behavior is execute everything. So case 3. Case 3 is what? Case 3 is multiplication, I guess. Case 3, yeah, multiplication. So if you have opted for case 3, then multiplication should be performed. So how to perform multiplication? A into B. This is the symbol I have to use and mention the break statement, or otherwise every statement will be executed. So case 4 is what? SOP of, I need to say quotient. Okay, quotient. Quotient means what I need to do? I need to say A by B. A divided by B. So next again, let me say break here. So in the similar way, let me say case 5. So what is case 5? I want a reminder. Okay, I want a reminder. So then what I need to do say? I need to use the modulus symbol. Okay, percentage symbol. Okay, and I'm saying, and again I'm saying break. Okay, and I'm writing a default statement. What is that? Invalid choice. If you haven't given 1 to 5, instead of that you have given something else, at that time I wanted to print saying invalid choice. You have not correctly selected the choice. You have selected the invalid choice. Okay, so this is what I wanted to do. Let me close everything. This is for switch, this is for method, and this is for class. So I have closed everything. Now this is the program basically. Okay, so can you people write this program by yourself, and can you try to execute this? And can you tell me whether you are able to execute or not tomorrow? I will give you this document to you. Okay, can you people try to execute this code, and can you check whether you are able to write the program and whether you are able to execute or not?
Subscribe for more videos and hit the bell icon for notification of videos.